Hey there guys, I'm going to do another quick before and after video. Today I'm looking at an older Bob Long Autococker. Some pretty sweet splash anodizing on here. We've got the old school bird cage down here instead of the beaver tail. And this is a super old rag, I'm not even sure what that is. But it does seem to work. And up front we've got an unmarked Palmer's Rock LPR. And you can see it's got the brass three-way and brass ram. And I'm going to be polishing those up so that they match the gold shoe and gold here. And I've got it gassed up right now. And yeah, I could just hear the slightest wheeze coming from the front. I think. Yeah, you might not be able to hear it, but I think it's coming out of the front of the three-way. I was checking everything else here and I couldn't sense any other leaks. It's very, very small. Let's go ahead and check the timing and see if it cycles. Okay. Something's sticking here. Interesting. Okay, so probably have a little bit of work to do. I'll check all these hoses and make sure they're not plugged. And then make sure that this is all moving freely. The timing rod and the three-way, and yeah, hopefully there's nothing wrong with the ram or the LPR. But yeah, I'll do another maybe a during and then an after video, so stay tuned. Alright, so a quick update on the Bob Long Signature Series cocker here. Figured out that the leak was actually coming from the LPR barb, so I went ahead and put some Loctite on there. It's good to go. And I do have it timed and cycling correctly, but when I went to chronograph it, I found out that the inline reg, this guy here, which appears to be original, is actually not doing anything. In fact, the pressure is just going right through no matter what I do with the adjuster. So I'm going to rebuild that. I can already tell that the O-rings inside are very plastified, if you want to call them that, and it's kind of a mess. So the owner does want me to make this all work with the original equipment, so I'm going to go ahead and rebuild this, and I'll get back to you guys later. Alright, yet another update here. So I ended up taking apart the original inline regulator and found that it's actually missing parts. And so there is no regulator pin or reg seat. So there's actually nothing sealing off the airflow once the piston drops down. Therefore, this thing is useless, unfortunately. So the owner has decided to switch to using an AKA 2-liter, very nice reg. And he's also sourced a few more brass parts. We're going to go full brass on this guy. So we've got a brass LPR, we've got a brass cocking rod here, and some CCM brass fittings. We're also going to put on this CP direct mount. So I will get you guys another update once this thing is ready to go. Alright guys, I've got one final update on the Bob Long Signature Series here. So since last time, I discovered that that particular AKA 2-liter reg was not able to go high enough pressure. It only goes up to 350, which is not quite high enough to run this gun. So for now, we're just going to stick with a WGP inline that I had sitting around that's about the right pressure. And I just wanted to show you the rest of the gun here before we close this one out. So I did get the brass, this massive brass LPR on here. It looks pretty sweet. So we've got a full brass front end now. The ram, the four-way, and the LPR are all brass. And we've got the brass ball detent, brass trigger shoe. Also have the gold here on the die stickies. CP direct mount. And just to recap also, I did get the timing fixed on this, which involved adjusting the hammer lug inside of here, the screw on the hammer, and then also just adjusting the timing rod so that it actuates at the proper point in the trigger pull. So let's cycle it real quick, see how it sounds. So you see it's an oldie but a goodie, and it's going to be a fun one for my owner to play around with.